Hello fellow adventurers, Ryan here from D&D Awakening. Join us on our travels today with a new D&D story. Before we begin, why not subscribe for daily D&D content, and please feel free to show the channel some additional support if you find yourself liking the video by hitting that like button and maybe leaving a comment below. The engagement really helps us to reach more people and grow our community. Thank you for your support. How one of my players became the BBEG? Hey everyone, today I will tell you how a character that was disliked by the group ended up becoming the big bad evil guy of the campaign. So when I was starting as a DM, I gathered my group of friends around the TTRPG Nahilbuke, a French highly parodic universe mostly based on the Dark Eye rule set. I was mostly mastering a homebrew campaign, doing the scenario on the whim, and never knew where it was going myself, but hey, my group was having fun. One of my players stood out from the rest, Rassel the Paladin of Cornetto. Yes, it's a parody of Khorne from Warhammer. Most of the gods in Nahilbuke are like that. A paladin of war, which was mostly the equivalent of an edgy magic barbarian. The player using it realized how his stats were unbalanced and started going munchkin on it. I still remember the multiple weeks of build-up before my party finally reached the first boss, which was a red dragon. Just for all of this to end up with Rassel doing a furious critical combo on the red dragon, killing him nearly instantly. I literally had to buff him mid-fight. So it wasn't a face roll. The team was getting annoyed with the character of Rassel acting like a brooding warrior and stealing all the glory for himself while acting like an asshole. But they were good alignment and were not going to do anything about it. After a while I was running out of ideas and started grabbing online different dungeon modules as filler. One of the dungeons we were doing was getting sour with a lot of critical from the enemies, mostly on Rassel due to his proximity and fight. One moment a bad utilization of one of his makeshift Molotov provoked him to be knocked unconscious, while out of danger since he put down the last enemy with that move. The team finally saw an opportunity and left him to die after looting him. The player of Rassel was also fed up of his character and so got completely on board with the idea and started preparing a new character. And it's at this moment I had an idea that led to one of my players' fondest memories in our TTRPG sessions. One of the goals for Paladin in Nahilbuke is to gather or buy relics of their god to increase their power. There is even Paladin of Sleep that can buy a magic pillow giving you a short rest while traveling. And for it we prepared a backstory of Rassel being a prestigious student of Cornetto trained by a Urike, a powerful orc and chief of the Cornetto cult. After a few hours Rassel woke up badly wounded in the now deserted dungeon and sees in front of him the feet of his master, telling him that the rage and anger he built up in himself is the sign that he's ready to take its place as the new vessel of rage. That was mostly a cinematic for my players to show them what to expect for the next chapter. The following scenarios consisted of massive attack of the cult of Cornetto on villages and caravans. The former player of Rassel created a group of 5 characters for a huge battle scenario and kept the only survivor as his new main character. He was now a paladin of Brav, god of the loyal idiot, which are a massive parody of the loyal good paladin restriction with things like forbidden to swear, have bad teeth, or to not properly comb your hair. A complete change of character that will still manage to have glorious moments. For example, in a scenario where they needed to hide and flee from a giant far too strong for them, he tried to cast one of his spells which make the victim reflect about his past actions. Normally that spell only makes the enemy cry, but he managed to do a critical hit and I roll a nat 1 on magic resistance, despite the huge resistance of the giant for magic. This resulted with the giant hating himself and committing suicide, giving a level in advance to the paladin compared to the rest of the team. The team got on an epic journey trying to stop different agents of the cult from gathering artifacts scattered around the kingdom, ending up with the defeat of Rassel's master. The final showdown ended up with the kingdom's army raiding the cavern where the cult was performing the ritual to transform Rassel into a dangerous demon of anger, after multiple floors of a volcanic cavern filled with dangerous fighters of Cornetto. The party finally reached the ritual and saw their former companion floating above the ground, his face engulfed in red smoke and 2 red dark glowing eyes looking at them. The fight nearly knocked out most of the team, with Rassel now throwing fireballs and other destructive spells on the party. The only player that could deliver a blow powerful enough to kill him before they're all cooked up alive was the guard captain, which had a former rivalry with Rassel. The paladin of Brav immediately decided to serve as a shield to let his teammates reach Rassel safe from the fireballs. In a pretty good conclusion, the new character nearly gave his life to protect someone from his past one. The guard captain managed to give a clean blow to Rassel, ending the campaign with the defeat of their former ally. The writing of the characters and even the originality of the story wasn't that great, I must admit. But for the time it was still an epic adventure and made the players far more involved in the roleplay. They really felt like their action had consequences in the world, and that taught me a lot about how to approach player interactions as a DM. I still to this day use it as an example of what is the meaning and goal of TTRPGs. So, what do you think of this big bad evil guy? I'd be interested to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, Please show your support by hitting that like button and maybe watching another story on screen now. And until our next journey, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.